Question number 8, the Honourable David Parker.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance. What is the projected current account deficit as a percentage of GDP and in dollar terms for the forecast years in Budget 2011?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, for the 3 years from 2012, the forecasts are 4.1, 5.2 and 6.8. This is after the current account deficit averaged more than 8% of GDP each year between 2004 and 2008. In 2010, it fell to 3% of GDP.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable David Parker.
That was a question on notice, sir, and asked for the current account deficits in dollar terms as well, and that part of the question has not been answered.
It's a fair point. The Honourable Bill English.
8.4, 11.5 and 15.6.
Point of order, the Honourable David Parker.
Is that billions, sir, or hundreds?
The Minister should clarify.
Well, he knows it's billions.
Well,
of course he knows that.
Order. I've asked the Minister to make it clear.
Billions.
The Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Is the Minister of Finance aware that under current policy settings, that current account deficit he projects means that New Zealand's indebtedness to the rest of the world is projected to grow by $52 billion by 2015?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, yes, I am aware of the projections, and again, because of the very large current account deficits run by the previous government in what should have, in what were ideal economic conditions, this government has had to try and hold back the massively negative momentum, and we have partially succeeded so far with a lot more to do.
Supplementary.
The Honourable David Parker.
Doesn't that budget forecast show to him that his policies are not working, because after 6 years, if re-elected, New Zealand every year gets poorer by billions and billions of dollars?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no, because if the government hadn't taken the considered and consistent decisions it have, we would be in a much worse situation. And we're not likely to take much notice of that member, because under his government, they promised to halve the current account.
Order. The member asked a question. He didn't ask whether anyone should take any notice of him. He's entitled to ask a question. And the Minister shouldn't make any disparaging comment about the questioner. Well, point of order, the Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the standard you usually apply is that if the question is asked in a political way, it invites a political response. And the member referred to government policy failure, so a political response is to refer to the failure of the previous government that made this job so hard.
I hear the point the member makes, and it's order. I'm considering a point of order, and I accept the point being made that members perhaps should be a little more careful asking questions too. The Honourable David Parker.
Supplementary. Given his disagreement with me, why does he also disagree with the legion of economists, the IMF, the OECD, the Treasury, that to overcome the structural problems that New Zealand economy has, we need a structural solution like a capital gains tax?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, as I pointed out, the tax the member refers to as part of a tax package which means bigger government spending financed by higher taxes and more debt, and that will be bad for the New Zealand economy. But I accept some of the criticism, Mr Speaker, that the previous government led a consumption boom fuelled by excessive debt, and we have grappled with that over the last couple of years, and we have not yet succeeded in turning it around, but we are determined to do so.
Supplementary.
The Honourable David Parker.
Given the very high proportion of New Zealand's international debt has been borrowed to fund mortgages for property speculation, wouldn't it be sensible to close the capital gains loophole that distorts investment towards property to the detriment of the export sector, so that we can start getting that current account deficit under control?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, 2 points. If the member really believed that, he would have done it when he was in government, and he had 9 years and he didn't do it. And secondly, the measures the government has taken to increase the effective tax on property are collecting somewhere between $800 million and $1 billion this year. about 6 or 7 years ahead of when any kind of capital gains tax would collect that sort of revenue from the property sector. So the measures the government has taken are much more effective than what the member proposes.
Question or point of order, Phil Twyford.
Sir, I seek leave to table this photograph which shows the Honourable Annie
Order.
King.
What's the source of this document?
It's a photograph, sir, of Annette King turning the first sod on the Hobsonville motorway in 2008, and raises the concern, sir, that the pipeline of Labour-initiated transport projects is running out.
Order. The member's made his. Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Question number 9, Pesata Samlor Tuienga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Police.